In Malcolm Gladwell's book, Blink, The Power of Thinking Without Thinking, he discusses Paul Van Riper, a famous Vietnam vet who was chosen to lead the opposing side in the Pentagon's mammoth Millennium Challenge war games, which lasted for several months preceding the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Van Riper was known for writing things on small slips of paper, even amidst battles in the jungle. He would then pull the notes out at training drills, which he ran almost continually, even after suffering troop losses. The real-time nature of his note-taking helped him constantly adjust his methods until eventually the Viet Cong basically left his troops alone. Interestingly, initial planning for the Millennium Games began in the summer of 2000, well before the 9/11 attacks that supposedly triggered the Iraq invasion. That's from Mothman's Photographer 3 by Andrew B. Colvin. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth here on YouTube. Just a reminder, the Stench of Truth radio show on blogtalkradio.com/the Stench of Truth every Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time, where I talk with many interesting people about many interesting things. This week I will have Robert Price, who is a theologian and a writer, and who is very conversant with Lovecraft and the Cthulhu mythos. So I'm sure we'll have a chance to talk about religion and one of my favorite writers and genres in Lovecraft and the Cthulhu mythos. So join us for an interesting discussion. I'm going to try to make this the last commentary and my final word regarding Ron Paul. First of all, I want to give major kudos to him for constantly interjecting the idea of ending the bogus wars that we are in, that the U.S. administration is involved in Libya, Yemen, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and probably at least a dozen other countries. And I applaud him completely for raising this into the public consciousness and for making it an issue for some people yet again. As far as any of his other policies go, besides the ending of the Federal Reserve, basically I think they suck ass. So as far as I'm concerned, what we have here is a problem with people who continuously want to support Ron Paul because they think this time somehow things are going to be different, when we have a totally corrupt system that has been run by and for the wealthy ever since the inception of this country. And there is no such thing as a constitution when it comes to you. And during the last probably 60 years, we've seen a tightening of the multinational corporate control of this country, to the point now that the corporations out and out own the politicians that supposedly represent you. Now, I'll grant that most of the Ron Paul supporters would probably agree with that assertion, but they somehow still hold to this messianic fervor that would have you believe that somehow the magical, mystical Ron Paul, the Savior Messiah, just like many people saw Barack Obama, will be able to march in on his white horse and change everything. Well, I want to ask you something. Why are you going to fucking vote at all? Let's not forget that we do not live in a country where you have a dictatorial president. Well, we actually do, but according to your own philosophy, we don't, because we have these various branches of government, supposedly, that serve as checks and balances, when in fact they all are wholly owned subsidiaries of corporate and Wall Street America. Every last one of them. But let's just take it from your playbook. From your playbook, we don't have a dictatorial president. So therefore, the president will not be able to simply sweep into office and have all of his wonderful programs enacted. And yet somehow you think there is some sort of salvation to be had by having some particular person in as president. You're fucking wrong. And you're fucking kidding yourself. Alright? It's not going to happen. As far as I'm concerned, it's a lose-lose when it comes to Ron Paul, because if he were to get into office in some fantasy world, and he were able to actually get his policies enacted in this same fantasy world, then it's a lose-lose, because the people of this country will be destroyed, and the corporations will run rampant, because he's in favor of deregulation and the magical free market, where everything self-regulates. Now I want to ask you something. Everybody always points to his voting record as being so important. Oh, look, he's done all this over all this period of time. He's shown his true colors by staying true to his nature. Has he ever had a fucking vote that mattered? Go and look. If he had one, fucking tell me, because I want to know what one it was. Do you think all of his voting no on everything meant a fucking thing? Yeah, he puts his fucking earmark shit into a bill, then he votes against it. You know why? Because his vote never fucking matters. It's a foregone conclusion that whatever fucking thing is being proposed, it's going to either be passed or not passed by enough of a margin that his fucking vote is useless. So he can vote no on every motherfucking thing, even shit that he supports, knowing that it's going to be passed. Or not passed before he even passes or gives his fucking vote. So tell me, I want to know, did he ever have the key vote on any fucking thing? And how about for proposed legislation? Has any of it ever even come anywhere near being passed? Well, we had the Audit the Federal Reserve bill, which seemingly had all this support, which suddenly dried up and went away. And we got a watered-down version of it. And still you hold on to this idea that somehow, in his magical, mystical nature, he's going to be able to bring all of this stuff around and change it. Sounds an awful lot like 2008 to me. And Barack Obama. And Ron Paul last time around, who ran a really shitty campaign and had absolutely no intention of actually holding the office of president. Otherwise, he would have campaigned vigorously. But he didn't. And it's probably going to be a tepid, lukewarm affair this time as well. And I want to tell you why. First of all, why is Ron Paul consistently avoided by the media and swept under the rug, and all these polls show him winning various things and what have you, and the media ignores him because they're scared of Ron Paul. They're not scared of Ron Paul. Nobody's fucking scared of Ron Paul. They avoid him on purpose to make him look like he's some kind of outsider candidate that they're frightened of. Frighten my ass. They're never frightened of anybody. If they're scared of somebody, they fucking kill them. That's what they did with JFK. So don't tell me anybody's scared of Ron Paul. They ignore him on purpose to make him seem like he's an outsider. And you know why? Because it attracts people who are disaffected and angry and frustrated with how things are. And you put your hope into another Messiah hero, which I've talked about before. There are no fucking messiahs, and there are no motherfucking heroes. And he isn't one either. The only thing he serves as is a foil for you to spend your energy on. So you do not look at the man behind the fucking curtain, and that is corporate fucking America and Wall Street. You will not spend your energy focused on the real fucking enemy in this fucking country. Instead, you will still support a bankrupt and broken motherfucking system and try to promote and vote for a sham politician who is put there as a foil for the frustrated, angry masses to rally behind, and then to become disillusioned once again when he fails to materialize. And he fails to deliver on any of his promises. And he fails to be elected to office. And he'll remain there as the foil afterwards for you to cry in your milk about and say, if only, if only. You think that he's been in office all these years and somehow he's able to be untouched by the corruption and the greed and the corporations and everything else that run this entire fucking sham show of a country? Please. You're the ones that talk about half the people who support Ron Paul talk about how there's vote rigging and how the corporations and corruption run everything in this fucking country. But yet, you are going to try to tell me that somehow he's above all this. That he's walking around in his white clothes without a speck of fucking dirt on him. And I'm supposed to fucking believe that. Give me a fucking break. So my final word is on Ron Paul. I give him full fucking praise and credit for bringing the anti-war idea back into the public consciousness and making it an issue in the coming campaign. Not that it's going to make any difference. It's a way for him to appeal to certain class of so-called liberal anti-war types who will hold their nose and vote for someone if they're sufficiently anti-war. And that's a very small number of people in the overall scheme of things. But as far as everything else that Ron Paul stands for, fuck him and fuck his fucking fucked up motherfucking policies. Because he can shove them as far as I'm concerned, because they all fucking suck. And he's part of the corrupt fucking system, and for that reason alone, don't fucking vote for him. So I say, don't fucking vote at all, because all you're doing is supporting a bankrupt fucking system. If by some fucking miracle a total outsider, completely unconnected to any corporate money, any wealthy Wall Street fat cats, any ideologues, any foundations, any PACs, any of these other groups insidiously behind the scenes were to make an appearance in this campaign and were to present a platform that actually cares about the individual, the middle class, the poor, seniors. In other words, people over corporations and money, and actually manage to get on the ballot, I might vote for them. But that's not going to happen. So, there you have it. So if you want to vote to continue the same corrupt, bullshit, corporate and Wall Street dominated system, spend your fucking energy supporting a fucking candidate that comes out of the cesspool, that is put there in his place and allowed to keep his position based on the fact that he serves a purpose of a gathering place for a certain kind of people that are opposed to the so-called big government nightmare, which is all a sham bullshit piece of crap anyway. Because really what the problem is not big government, it's corporate fucking government. So if you want to support him, go ahead. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. It's on your head. You want to waste your time and energy supporting Ron Paul? Well, go right ahead. I ain't going to fucking stop you. But I think you're fucking stupid. Now, a final thing, and I know I'm getting long already. I want to talk about the AARP once again. And beg you, please, for the love of all that's holy, if you know anybody in your motherfucking life, including you, if you belong to the AARP or you know someone who is, beg them to tell the AARP to go fuck themselves. Because I have a question for you. Why are you going to pay money to belong to a group that supposedly is there for the support of your fucking interests as a senior, when they sold you out on Medicare and now they are abandoning their position on no cuts or changes to Social Security at your fucking expense? And if you have any supplemental insurance from AARP, which is exactly what AARP is, it's a fucking insurance company who will directly benefit by the cuts to Medicare that they went along with. If you have an insurance company with the insurance company AARP, cancel the motherfucker. Find another policy somewhere else. Because they sold you out in the name of profits, just like every other fucking corporation does. So, please, do not belong to this fucking organization. This is a way we can actually have an effect. Don't belong to the fucking corporation. Tell them to shove it up their ass. And tell them to shove their fucking insurance policy up their fucking ass as well. You can actually have an impact on one company like this if you realize that they do not serve your fucking interests. And they will sell you out in a fucking heartbeat for 2 fucking cents, which is exactly what they're doing. So, thanks for listening. Good night.